Sanke.
I'm a living example of you can get punched in the face and get back up, because I'm the modern day Aztec warrior. Welcome back to MMA Underground, your favorite part of Wednesday. I'm one half the dynamic duo known as Buddy V with the one and only
Sam K. And shit, we got two phenomenal guests in the building as always. From Streetbeefs West Coast, we just seen him tear shit up in the cage recently. We have the one, the only Soul Assassin in the building. And all the way from Streetbeefs Scrapyard, you've seen him. We have the one, the only Coop Nasty in the building.
How
y'all doing?
Doing good.
Good.
Nice. It's gonna be a fun show. I'm excited. Man, both y'all have had some crazy fights. I mean, I can't believe it. And we'll touch the new ones later, but first, I want to talk about some debuts because Coop Nasty, for your first fight, what was it, versus Henny, you ended up getting a ref stoppage. How does that kind of night feel to be able to put your name in there, put the stamp on it, and be like, that's who I am, Coop Nasty with the hands?
It was really fun. I kind of had a game plan going in, and I ended up just not doing it. And I kind of just let my brain shut off and work what it saw.
Nice. And, was that your first time, having a stoppage like that?
Oh, yeah, that was my first ever fight. Like, I'd never done any sort of cage match before. I'd only sparred. And, yeah, it was my first time. But it allowed me to combine my skills of staying on my feet and avoiding takedowns and striking on the feet and putting that pressure on.
Got you. Was there nervousness walking in prior to the cage?
Absolutely. And I think that nervousness wore off once my first punch landed on him, and then once his first punch landed on me, and the nervousness was gone, and it was just complete adrenaline.
I love it. I was gonna say too, man, I felt like you were had a calm demeanor, which was surprising for your first fight, because I just felt like you were there and you were picking shots, and to hear that you were, watching your opponent. Yeah, that's definitely nice to see the reaction. We always fall back to the level of our training.
Yeah. I got a lot of grappling training. That's kind of my primary focus. So being able to stand out there and strike in both my fights I've had, I think my most recent one, I definitely grappled a lot more because I had made a plan and I tried to stick to it a bit more. But in both of them, I'm trying to stand and strike, trying to show where I'm weak, that I can still be strong there.
I like that.
I was gonna say, all right, were you gonna say something, okay?
No, I just said I like that.
Heck yeah. Soul Assassin, your debut, man, versus El Bandito, a no name. I couldn't forget your name after your fight. I was like, all right, let's see what he does. And I mean, the use of the way you use your length, pause, was really killer. I mean, you were able to see your opponent pick apart where you were able to, and especially with someone who's established in the yard too, I felt like you were really more than held your own, and I was really impressed. I was going to say, how did you feel about that performance?
I'd say it was good. I think I was technical enough. There are a few missteps or misplacements in my footwork in there, but I think it was a good performance. But I figure that if I had a little bit more cardio or more endurance, I would be able to make it a lot more entertaining to watch as a debut.
You know what they say. Cardio is key. Cardio is key. Cardio is key.
Cardio is key.
Nah, man, like you said, it was a hell of a debut, man. You know, we immediately, you know, we remember your name immediately. Uh, just like with Coop Nasty, was there nervousness walking in before you got into the cage or while you were in the cage that first fight?
I would say there was a bit of nervousness. Truth be told, that first fight, I was there right after work. I worked graveyard, so
Mm.
yeah.
Mm.
I don't see how y'all do that, bro. I know a lot of fighters in our yard who've done that, and I'm just like, how, bro?
uh,
I don't. Yeah, I need my sleep. I want to rise with the birds, and I want to go to sleep when the sun goes down. I don't. Woo.
I mean, you got to go out and perform in a way that you don't normally do in this fight coming up. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You need your brain, you need your the physicality of your body and everything. But you know, kudos to the guys who can do it, man. Because I would have never guessed based off of the back and forth and picking your shots. You came in and you looked even in this last fight. It was reminiscent of the first fight because you had you had a poisonous to you, a calmness to you, even under pressure when your opponents would get aggressive. Uh, where does that come from?
That one, that mostly came from focusing on the objective and not too much in the general thing of win the fight or anything like that. It was more of just focusing on where are my open targets and where can I move. And if I know that if I just keep my mind like that, then I wouldn't get flustered.
I like it. Now, not everyone does Muay Thai. I was gonna say, have you been training Muay Thai for a good little bit too, or did you just say, "F it, I want to strike all out. I don't want to take it to the ground. I just want to bang."
Yeah, I've trained Muay Thai for a little bit. It's since started in around 2017. 2017.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like Buddy said, you don't see too many people do that too often. But when the guys who do Muay Thai, they come out, they always stand out typically, you know. Uh, you recently had another fight with us this past month, and talk to us a little bit about that and the differences coming into that fight as opposed to the first fight.
The difference as to for that fight, I took note of my last fight and I noticed that the establishment of range and such and picking the shots were great. But then I noticed that I need to work on aggressiveness and fluidity a bit more. And it seemed like in that fight, that was my mentality a bit. Starting off in there, I was focused on aggressiveness and fluidity. It turned out that when I was in there, it seemed like aggressiveness was waning back and forth, but fluidity seemed to be the main thing that clicked in my mind while I was in that ring. Uh, that Not sure if that answered the question, but that was mostly that.
No, it did, because definitely the way you're putting it, looking back at both fights, it makes sense. Like you can actually see, based off what you're saying, you can actually see that play out in the fights, the mentality and the game plan. Did you get rest for the second fight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Heck yeah. Now, I was gonna ask Coop Nasty, 'cause we're talking about some killer fights, And earlier, we were behind the stage. We were talking about the anniversaries for both yards, West Coast and Scrapyard. And do you know who you're gonna be going against this month?
Fire Chicken said that for a pre-match right now, it's looking like I'm going to be going up against Lil Mac, who is an excellent striker from what I've seen, at very dangerous punching power, which has had me working on my boxing heavily. He's also a pressure fighter like me, so You know, if we're both
Little
trying to
Mac
pressure
from
the
your
other
yard
person.
or OG yard? I'm sorry.
Pardon?
For clarity.
Fighting out of Scrapyard.
Okay.
Yeah. But he's a pressure fighter. I'm a pressure fighter. I think it could be we're gonna meet in the middle thing. I'm watching a lot of both tape of him and then a lot of tape of shorter fighters fighting guys that are a bit taller than them. And I'm working on that, working how to break past his range.
Oh yeah, so that could be something you got to break down. And I'm curious, are you gonna? Because before one of your first fight, you said you gave a shout out to a BJJ club and a Taekwondo club. I was gonna say, are we gonna maybe see some kicks being busted out here? The side.
So our Taekwondo club, it's a bit more kickboxing style than Taekwondo. At least the days I go are more kickboxing. But I shout out the BJJ club because these are my only forms of training. I don't go to an actual gym. I don't have anything outside of the clubs. That's just how I train because I'm here at school and that's kind of my bigger focus.
How young are you?
I'm 21.
Okay. So at 21, in school, recognizing the bigger focus, why are we taking up fights at the scrapyard? What's the drive behind that? What's the motivation?
It's just putting the skills and making sure those the 9 months I had put into before my first fight was the 9 months I had put into training, just putting it into action, showing myself that hey, I can face the fear of stepping out and fighting.
I like it.
I was gonna say, how young are you, Soul Assassin?
I'm 25.
Ooh, got some young guys. All right.
In the prime, going into prime.
The only thing that really slows down first, I'll let you know, is that recovery rate. You eat good, but sometimes those bruises last a little longer than you expect. Oh man.
Yeah, that elbow that should be healed tomorrow is not healed tomorrow. Yeah. But shit, Soul Assassin, how did you actually this is a question for both of you guys. I'll start with Soul Assassin. How did you guys find out about Street Beefs? What was your entry point like,
Uh, from what I remember, it was yeah, I'm sure you know Free Smoke.
Mhm.
Yeah, Free Smoke actually invited me onto Street Beefs. He recommended me to jump in there, and I just went with it.
You guys train at a similar gym or
Yeah, I've known Free Smoke for a bit. We I trained with him at Syndicate a few years ago, and then just it was just along the lines of connections.
yeah. That's the beauty of the fight capital. You're gonna run into somebody who runs into who knows somebody who knows somebody. Shout out
Yeah.
to Syndicate, great gym. And were you aware of Street Beefs prior to the invitation from Free Smoke, or was that your first introduction period?
That was my first introduction period, all the
Oh
way.
wow,
Yeah.
Hold on.
pretty cool.
First introduction. You've never saw just scrolling saw a match or anything?
No.
That's what's up. What about you, Coop?
I got something similar. Freakzilla, who fights out of Scrapyard. He's one of my training partners at Taekwondo Club, and he was preparing for his fight back in May. He was training on the bag next to me, and he was just like, "You should do one too." And I was okay. So that's how I got into it.
And wasn't aware prior to that of
I
any.
was aware.
Okay.
I had seen like clips. I knew there was a scrapyard up in Gig Harbor, and I had like been like, "Oh, I'll do it one day," but it was always like a one day thing where you say it one day, but it never actually happens. But now it actually happened.
That's insane. It's weird how that works, right? All you do is dip your toes in the water, and the next thing you know, you're already jumped in like, oh hell yeah! It takes someone special to want to get punched in the face on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Facts.
And I was gonna say, Coop Nasty, after this next fight, we might not see you back at the yard for a tiny bit. Do you want to announce any special news?
Yeah. Much to the disdain of my sergeant, I leave for basic training for Army National Guard 3 days after my fight. So I'm gonna try not to get punched as much because I don't want to show up to basic with a busted open face.
That's in the message. I'm like, look at the other guy.
I was gonna say, you know, you've got already like kind of a taste of combat. You know what I mean? So that's kind of cool. Do you see
Yeah.
yourself doing any type of combat training? Well, obviously, but anything because I know they do like tournaments depending on the branch of military. Do you see yourself doing anything like that?
Um, I think I'll be doing at least a little bit of training with combatives. I'm not 100% sure what everything is for once I get out of basic. I know basic does a little bit of combatives, which is more like judo and jujitsu. And then when I go to cavalry school, um, I don't know what they'll be having me do there, but I'm expecting to lose a lot of weight and fortunately some muscle.
Dope,
Wait,
dope.
what do you fight at right now?
I'm sitting at around 158 right now. Normally I fight at my last two fights. I've weighed in at my first one. I weighed in at 163 because I was coming off the end of a bulk, and my last one I weighed in at 158, I believe.
Yeah, so you'll definitely be at least in the early 140s or possibly heavy 130s.
Probably around 145. I'll probably lose around 10 pounds. I'm gonna hope and try to scavenge as much protein as I can while I'm gone.
Dope, dope. Yeah, I don't know if you know about Terrifier from the Scrapyard. He's in the military and he does like the extracurricular tournaments that they do within the military. And he became a champ within, you know, his branch. You know, I don't know if it's full MMA or if it was just jujitsu. I think it was full MMA actually.
It was a full thing because I remember he kicked
Uh-huh.
the dude like
That's right. That's right. So I mean, as far as the fighting concerned, it doesn't necessarily mean it's over, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll probably have the edge on everyone else when and if you come back.
Yeah. If I come back, that's a big if when I come back because I'm gonna have to try to work around basic training or not basic training, but monthly training. And if those fall on the same day to Scrapyard, I just can't go. So I'm hoping I can at least at least get a chance to get one or two in next year.
heck yeah.
That'd be dope.
And I was curious, Soul Assassin, what weight do you fight at?
I fight at 155, and I walk around from between 170 to 180.
Oh wow.
Whoa, how long do you cut like right like the week of the fight, or do you kind of bring it down the month or like what?
I do it gradually, as long as I know if that the fight's at least a month out, then I gradually cut it day by day.
Okay. And what's kind of like give us an idea of what your diet's like.
So far, my diet's it's mostly been uh, so in the usually in the mornings I would do a mix of protein, walnut, almonds, beetroot, maca root, and beetroot, maca root, matcha,
Dang.
and almond milk. Yeah, and that's all. That's just in the morning, and then and for food wise, mostly carbs, meats, and vegetables. And if I don't have vegetables, I would compensate that with something along the lines of carrot juice. Usually it's carrot juice.
I like the juicing because I feel like that way I know I'm getting my vitamins. So even if my tummy's grumbling, I'm gonna go, well, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good. It's just a mental game at this point.
Yeah.
Gross.
We haven't brought it up in the show in a while. I was gonna say, have either of you watched the boxing anime Hajime no Ippo?
No, I have not.
Not much.
It's cool. They have different scenes and it really breaks down like the fighter aspect, but not just in the ring. But there's one where he goes with the senior training partner and he stays at his house going through old movies, magazines, and he's the guy's preparing for a fight. And so he's like, "Yeah, go ahead, eat in front of me." And he's like, "Are you sure?" Okay, he's eating, and in the middle of the night, you hear the main guy get up, or the bigger senior partner get up, and he's just sitting in front of the fridge, opens it up, and he's just staring, and he's just like having a full breakdown. And then the main character's thinking to himself, like, "Wow, is this really what it takes to be, like a top tier fighter? You really have to, have the level of mental discipline in order to do that." And it's crazy to me that it's not as common as I would think, because being amongst fighters, we all understand that. But yeah, I mean, what are your guys' take on, the level of mental discipline that it does require just to even be a fighter? Sorry, so Stats want to go, and then Coop Nasty.
Yeah. I well, I was raised by military family. Or well, my dad was in the military. So I would say, for me, when it comes to the fighting wise, I would say the mental discipline really starts off small, like a seed. It starts off really, really small. Because I remember I was one of those really kind of like just your average normal person. But when I got into fighting, I started off as something as simple as, okay, can I move this hand over there? And then it started off as that, and I went with, all right, I just move this hand over there like this, uh, 10 times a day, and then it kind of built over time. I guess I built the discipline organically, or so to speak.
Heck
Yeah,
yeah, practice makes perfect.
yeah.
And Coop?
For me, it's just all about consistency. Whether it's going to
Shit is good.
practice, finding just finding time to take that extra bag work in, or to go eat the right thing rather than, putting 12 pack of donuts down my gullet like I may or may not have last week. But it's just all about consistency. I've, same dinners, kind of getting that same food intake and the same training, staying on schedule really helps me out.
Staying disciplined, staying consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like they say, what? How does an ant move a mountain? One rock at a time. You just gotta stay consistent.
Yep.
Facts. I wanted you guys to go ahead and give us the origin story of the fight names.
Cool.
If you want to start it off, Coop, and then we'll move to Soul Assassin.
Yeah, absolutely. So Coop Nasty is a old water polo nickname. I swam and did water polo in high school, and my freshman year, all the senior guys had given me the nickname Coop Nasty, and I think it more came from just my fierce fighting ethic in the pool. I was just tried to be as aggressive as I can at the time 5'2", 115-pound kid. I was, trying to be as fierce as I was, spitting water at people. And then once I kind of got into the more leading roles, I really tried to push it and try to be Coop Nasty. I still tried to be fierce. I still tried to, fight a little dirty in the pool, right? Because in water polo, it gets it gets vicious. I think I've taken some harder hits in water polo than I have in the cage sometimes.
Jeez.
And for those like myself, right, we need a description, a definition of water polo, because I've heard this sport my whole life. I can't say I've ever seen it. So what's going on in water polo?
It's kind of like a combination. The best way I can describe it is like a combination of basketball and soccer in the pool. You have a ball and you have 6 field players and a goalie on each team, and basically they're just trying to score it into the other goal.
Okay, and we're swimming the whole time, or are we just
swimming
walking?
the whole time? Everybody's in the water. You're swimming the entire time, treading water, holding on to the other people, sprinting back and forth down the pool on turnovers.
What's considered illegal? What are you not supposed to do?
So, like, one thing I remember doing to a kid vividly, he kept like pinching me and grabbing me and stuff. And so, as we're turning on a fast break to go to the other end of the pool, I remember I kicked him in the face on purpose. And I remember the ref looked at me, and like that should have been something I got kicked out of the game for, but instead he just looked at me and just shook his head no, like he was disappointed in me. And honestly, I think that hurt worse.
Wow.
And then there's certain times you're not allowed to grab, like you're not supposed to technically grab and hold the person under, but you can like grab their wrist and pull them down to get a position advantage.
I definitely instantly thought about just getting on someone's shoulders and just you're getting dunked. Like,
yeah, no, that'd get you a foul.
Okay. Wow.
Man, I can picture you jumping out the water, face someone's face going straight to your nuts, and then all of a sudden you're spitting water on someone else's face, and then you're about to throw the ball on the Jordan pose. Bam!
I gotta watch this sport after the show. Like,
oh yeah, it's a fun one. It's a real fun one to actually watch.
Wow. Okay. That's dope. So, Soul Assassin, give us the origin to yours.
The origin is, well, the soul part. I was always a philosopher. I guess it's always been along those lines, and for some reason, when I started to learn martial arts or Muay Thai or boxing or anything along those lines, some part of me just kept on digging deeper and deeper along the entire thing. And it's gone to a point where as I dug deeper and I started to get into meditations and such, I started to see that it's a lot more than just the mechanics of it and what we see on the surface. And then as time went on, I dug deep to a point where essentially I saw my soul, but the soul of others too. And then, and that's where the first part of that name started off in. And then assassin was mostly my realization when I went back to the gym. The gym that I started off in from Muay Thai was Fozzy Sports. But when I realized that a lot of the people at that gym were gladiators and warriors, and then I was trying to be like them, but it wasn't, for some reason it couldn't mix. So then I started to go my own route off of off of what I saw within my soul. And I started to realize that I wasn't too much on brute force, but I was a lot closer towards dexterity and footwork and positioning and such, which is practically like a ninja, or like there's a samurai in a home of gladiators, or a, I guess for some people who would want to put it into animal terms, it's like a cat in a world of dogs. But yeah, I turned out that, I thought I was a gladiator, and then I turned out to be a ninja, so to speak.
I like it.
Oh yeah, and that's the best part. Everyone's got different styles, man. Assassins, you pick those shots and bam! I'll be waiting for when you pick that assassination knockout. You're like, but
Yeah.
man, oh, was that something okay?
I was just like, yeah.
I was gonna say, man, I don't know though. You might have some gladiator blood in you because that fight you had recently with Janice, oh my goodness gracious. Some of those body shots, I couldn't even believe you were standing after one or two. I heard them and my phone was like vibrated. I was like, "What? Hold on a minute." I mean, wow. That was a crazy fight. Yeah, you want to talk about that one? I mean,
Uh, yeah, yeah, that fight, that was actually a really fun fight, I would say. It really it really tested me on where I needed to adjust, not just within the fight, but even just within life. And it really taught me that, I need to, I need to initiate more. I need to get more aggressive on things instead of waiting for opportunities. I shouldn't have to wait for a 100% guarantee. Sometimes 90% is okay to go to charge in. Sometimes 80% is okay to charge in. Um, Outside of that, though, I would say that it was a fight that I really liked. I've learned a lot off of that, and and along the lines of taking body shots and hits and such, I would have to say it was um it was really fun. Uh, it somehow, I think in the second round, um, for the first time, something, I guess, awoken in me to where I charged in with boxing, and yeah, I'm not too sure what to follow up along with all of that, and I just really like the fight.
Yeah, it was definitely a banger. And it looked like a good test for both of you. You know, Jay Nees is not someone to take lightly, and you really put up a good fight. You know, um, I'm interested to see when you're coming back, man.
I think it's the next event, the one 2 months from now. I think
Oh,
that's
we have
the
events
anniversary.
every month. So the next event is the last Saturday this month. That's the hot box though. And then the anniversary is next month. And then I think we're back at the hot box the month after that.
Okay. Well, in that case, I will see you guys at the anniversary.
Okay, okay.
Huh?
That's
get you a
one
free
of the
smoke,
best.
Ted?
What's
That's
that?
one of the best events to pick right now because that's going to be the biggest one, possibly our biggest event to date. But it's definitely going to be the biggest one of the year.
All right.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I was gonna say, you see what a free smoke put? He's fighting E7.
Oh, on the anniversary.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, did you know that?
I did not know that. All
Oh,
right.
okay, okay.
Ooh.
I'm fine.
So
It's a
yeah,
fine Earth.
that would be your matchup. What do you think of that?
Uh, oh, I'm excited. I'd say so. I heard that he's very boxer. Uh, I think I'll know when I get into the ring. I'll see how that all goes.
You've not watched his fights?
Uh, I haven't watched much of his fights. I've mostly just heard about him, but I think after
You
this podcast, I'll be watching a lot of those, seeing how you guys.
definitely need to. Definitely need to. He's the former champion in the West Coast. Uh, he was a boxer, or at least he had the boxing title. But he does kickboxing, MMA, and yeah, definitely someone to study and prepare for, without a doubt,
Okay.
without a doubt. But that's going to be an interesting matchup, though.
Yeah, it is. And you know, it's crazy because he's definitely one of my he was definitely still one of my top favorite West Coast fighters. I got a tier, but I can't say what the order is because some people might get mad at me because they're not higher than others. But having fun fighters and everything is fun to watch. But on a professional level, these people make it look very easy. And I was curious as to both of you if there's any professional fighters, since you have different styles, that you enjoy watching or that you enjoy, kind of trying to train like that you fit your style or.
Really? Well, I mostly. I mean, I've sparred with some professional fighters. I spar with Johnny Parsons. I'm not sure if you've heard of Johnny Parsons. Um, I sparred with him on the weekly, and I'm not too sure. I'm mostly just developing. There's not really much of a fighter that I'd like to fight like. I kind of pick apart from all of them. Yeah, there's not too many. I guess the first one that pops into mind would be Lomachenko in boxing, and who else? Kyle, not Kyle Kalai. Um, Salmart Payakurun. Yeah, Salmart Payakurun in Muay Thai.
Hell yeah.
For me,
Hey, Coop.
for me, I'd say it's Demetrius Johnson. He's from the same hometown as me. So he's always been a big person I look up to. I don't have the bounciness like him though, so I've been looking for somebody who's a bit less bouncy, and I found Alexander Volkanovski for that, and I try to fight like him because he has a real good mix of his striking and then using his grappling as a way to either secure strikes or go for a submission attempt, and that's something I really try to follow up and do.
Heck yeah. Man, I'm not gonna lie. One of my favorites is, I don't know if y'all are a fan of Buakwa, because he is a killer Muay Thai fighting. And then, I'm a BKFC fan. And he came out and just killed it on the scene too. And I mean, he's done some movies, so he's sitting there making it look easy. So I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Samk,
I wanted to. What's up?
you got any favorite fighters?
Well, of course. Number one is Bruce Lee. I'm a student of JKD, so that's always going to be number one. You got guys, legends like Muhammad Ali. Mike Tyson. Let me see some other guys. I really like. I like Gabriel Vargas. There's a lot of people, we ain't got to go too deep into it. We interviewing the guys now. I wanted to know what are some fighters either from your branch or another branch that you guys have noticed maybe you would like to fight or just admire from another branch or your own.
I mean, from my branch, I got Freakzilla, my real name. I'm gonna call him out, Nolan. I love him. He's very talented. He's just a very genuine dude too, and I wouldn't want to fight him, but I think everybody should go watch his fights and go just check him out. And then Roman as well, the chef. Probably not somebody I would fight just because I think he's a bit more advanced than me, but he's also a great one. And I love seeing his shit out there. It's awesome.
He's got a big fight coming up, correct?
I think he does. I think he's fighting for a title, if I'm not mistaken.
I was referring to the Wing C. Is that going to be for a belt? Is that for a belt?
Sure.
Buddy?
I think so.
Okay.
I think it's just.
Yeah, because he's from another yard, but even still, like that's a huge fight. He's a big name from OG yard. So, and Chef always shows out.
Yeah, he's improved a lot too. So.
Anyone from another yard that's caught notice?
Not really. I'm gonna unfortunately say I don't watch a lot of the other yards. I mainly watch the Scrapyard. That's kind of because I'm always kind of keeping an eye out on for who I might be going against.
Right.
And kind of seeing what a lot of the strengths of the people at Scrapyard are and what a lot of the weaknesses are. Because if I can build around a generality of people I might fight, I can at least be prepared to spec in on what I need to for a specific opponent once I have it announced.
So, and Soul Assassin, anybody from our yard catch your eye or another yard?
So far, the only one that I've mostly had paid some attention to would be Shinigami. Mostly as a, I guess, as a person who did karate for a little bit at one point. In my perspective, I'd say those are some sharp strikes, especially the kicks. And they may not look like they may not look like what you would think in a fighting in a combat sport where it doesn't look like it does damage, but those kicks are sharp, and I'm very much sure it must feel like getting hit by a bullet when those hit. I That's mostly on that one. I'd have to say that Shinigami's caught an interest.
As far as like admiration or competition?
Uh, say leaning closer towards admiration. I'm not much of putting a person on a pedestal, but more of a person I took notice to.
Okay. Because I was like, Shinigami's 100 pounds heavier than you. You know, it'd be a good fight. You know, if the weight was. But got you.
Yeah.
Hey. No, I like that. Man, that was cool. And I'm still a fan of that viral head kick because I remember when he was on the Brennan Schaub show and all of them had the red headbands. And gonna lie, when he fought Ryu Senin and they both put their headband on the line, I felt like it was a whole movie. Oh man.
Yeah. They was on the smoke break about a week or two ago. Y'all go check that out. I did a full breakdown of that fight because next month they rematch Combat Karate Shinigami versus Ryu Senin Part 2. And that'll be very interesting to see because once again, battle of the headbands.
Absolutely. Oh, I can't wait. Be tuning in. Now, I was kind of curious because, Coop Nasty, you say you might, come back and fight again or fight, while you're in the service. And then Soul Assassin, you're already in the AMI scene. You're making waves. I'm curious, and I brought up BKFC earlier. Would that ever be something either of you would ever consider if they, came with you with a check and just wanted you to kind of hop in the ring? Because we've seen a lot of people from Streetbeefs move to other plateaus and, they got their eye on us.
Oh,
So
I'll start. Yeah. I yeah that if I had that opportunity, I would take that in a heartbeat. I wouldn't mind at all. To If I were to have that as a check, I wouldn't mind. I could treat it like a full-time job, hardcore training, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and full focus on rest on the 2 days. And then, yeah, I would gladly take that in as a professional thing any day. If it pay, especially if it could pay, if I get paid for it, absolutely, I'll take it.
hell yeah.
For me,
Nasty.
it's a bit more. I'd say probably not. I'm getting my degree right now in botany, which is the study of plants, and a double majoring it with environmental science and getting my minor in chemistry. And joining the National Guard is another step I'm taking to, attempt to get my dream job. I want to go be a field botanist over in Africa. I want to study the baobab trees and their relationship to the fungi that grow around them. And I want to study that. So, getting an offer like that, as much as I'd be so grateful and I'd love to, and I'd consider it. I don't think it's like ultimately my dream and my goal.
That's insane. That's crazy cool. I couldn't even imagine. Let me find out one day and be like, what happened? I look up and you're in like some Times article and be like, oh, so Mr. Coop Nasty helps discover a way to treat the fungi.
And
It's the goal.
that's dope, man. You already have a direction and a goal and a mindset to go there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's incredible, and it's perfectly fine because everyone has a different fight journey. You know what I mean? It's not the same for any one fighter. So
Mhm.
yeah, that kudos to you, bro.
Thank you.
Dang. And then it's Soul Assassin. So then if you're on the amateur scene, you take that fight, are we gonna see you go pro sometime in the future?
If the opportunity shows up, absolutely. In the meantime, I'm just going to keep taking fights as they come. See what happens.
Hell yeah.
And what real quick, my last question for you, Soul Assassin. What is the motivation behind fighting? What is, how did we get to this being a hobby or more of a career? And why do we want to take it any further?
Uh, I well, for me, the motivation of that was mostly along the lines of learning, or once I realized that I've gathered a lot of wisdom just from the simple stuff that you would see in training. And as a person who is a bit of a loner, um, and a bit of a shut-in, it really helped me navigate through life
What
a
up?
lot. It's helped me navigate through life, and it's given me life experience, lessons without needing to experience the real hard lessons of life. It kind of taught me a bit about people, and that's from sparring in the gym, and it taught me conflict resolution. I've it kind of just, to an extent, it guided me through life. So even if I don't have it as a career, it's still something I would do 24/7.
Life through martial arts, man. That's the way.
Now I know that everyone's in different time zones, and there comes a point when I gotta be this bad guy. And Samke said he had his final question, so I'll have my final question real quick for the two of you. If you were to give any piece of advice to somebody right now, something that helps you, something that you read, anything at all, what is that piece of advice that you would give? Coop Nasty?
For me, it'd be move. I've lived in, I'm gonna be going to Georgia here at the end of the month for my next place to live. But I've lived in Washington, Pennsylvania, and Oregon, and I've met great people everywhere, great people of all different backgrounds. I think the best thing I can tell people is to move, get out there, and go meet new people, and it's where you're gonna meet some of the best people.
Like that.
And yes, my advice is that there is wisdom in everything. That goes for good, bad, neutral. There's wisdom embedded in anything that you experience and everything that you see. If you could look at it through that lens, I believe that anybody's life could be built more peaceful, and if not peaceful, then they could at least live more fulfilled.
Like that.
Hey, man. Both of you guys, well spoken. You guys' time is much appreciated. It's been a phenomenal show. If you guys want to go ahead and give any shout outs, any plugins, now would be the time.
Okay. For me, I want to thank Johnny Parsons. He's a bro, and he's got his gym. He's working on his gym right now, and it's called the Garden MMA. And I want to shout out Isaac Free Smoke. That's another bro right there. And without him, I wouldn't even be on here. I would probably just be some guy that you see in the parking lot throwing kicks in the air. So So yeah, I want to shout out to those two, Johnny Person, his gym, the Garden MMA, and Isaac. And lastly, my OG gym, Bozzy Sports, and my OG trainer, Sensei, Master Chan. I would have never gone anywhere in life without that guy. Much love to Master Chan.
Heck yeah.
I want to send my shout outs, I guess, to Freakzilla. Obviously, he's the reason I'm here. And then just the Taekwondo Club and the Jiu Jitsu Club here at OSU are great places to be if you're on campus. Definitely check them out. And then my last one are to my parents. I love them a lot. My dad's like my biggest hero. So definitely big shout out to them.
Heck yeah. I'll say you guys don't have it. You don't want anyone to follow your Instagrams? All right, fine. You know, I mean, even if you guys got OnlyFans, it's okay. No, but man, that was too much fun. Thank you guys, and yeah, the one word I could describe this show is
fire. We appreciate y'all.
Thank you for having me. I did too.
Man, that was fun. And I was surprised, like you said, they were both extremely well spoken. I really enjoyed every answer they had, the things that they talked about. And I mean, I didn't know water polo was so intense. Wow, you know?
I'm serious. I'm getting on YouTube right after the show. I'm finna look up some matches, man, because you know I've heard it. I've heard it spoken of, but I've never actually witnessed it. So, you know, hearing him talk about it sounds interesting.
Heck yeah, but we're not quite done yet, right?
Nah, man.
Just don't move that seat. Don't click that button. You guys, you gotta wait.
Refusing to allow limits to hold you back. When you hit that wall, you can either let it stop you or you can break through. Somke speaks from experience when he says cardio is key, cardio is key, cardio is key. And over here at Zuwell, we embody our motto, hard work, grit, and determination. Go get your cardio is key shirt today. That's right, you see it there. Forrest Griffin versus Giles Sonnen. Probably a fight you didn't even know existed. Back in 2003 in the IFC, these two went to war. And the commentators right away start commentating on Forrest Griffin's hand speed, but Giles has to definitely answer back with a nice takedown. This is crazy because this is before Forrest Griffin went to the Tough House in 2005 for the UFC. So these guys have been fighting for a while. And one of the things I enjoy about this fight is the constant advancement. While Forrest is on his back, Giles is definitely trying to work around, getting anything he can, whether it be a hit, trying to get some sort of something against his opponent. And Forrest is not giving anything up. He's working both offense and defense, making sure that he's keeping Giles on his toes. This is crazy because as he's trying to work his way in, I feel like you can see his brain clicking. It's just going. He's trying to find position. And he's been working his way up the body too. And what are we going to see right here? Uh-oh. He's going. He's putting his legs. He's getting his locks in. Oh, he's going for that triangle. Oh, almost an arm bar. Oh, nope. We got the triangle coming. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Forrest Griffin earned his spot.
As you see, cardio is key.
That was dope, man. That was dope.
Thank you. Yeah, it's you see him in so many old places, and it's like, you know, he's known for the Tough House. And so when I remember that, saw that fight, I was like, hold on. And I started doing getting dates ready, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Shit, man. It was a great show, man. Great show as always.
And even though we like to stay and try to keep y'all, it's about time we wrap it up.
It's about that time, man. First and foremost, I want to thank our guest, Soul Assassin, Coop Nasty. We appreciate you guys and your time. Phenomenal show. Shout out to Buddy V. Shout out to Jay. We kill it every week. Shout out to OG Yard, Scrapyard, West Coast, Dirty South. We do this for y'all. This month, Scrapyard's anniversary. Next month, West Coast anniversary. You guys be on the lookout. Lots of banger fights on the way. Lots of banger fights on the way. Shout out to Overtime Hustling Magazine, Heart in the Fight, and zwellworld.com. We appreciate you. Once again, Zwell World is where you can go ahead and get your Zwell merch and your Cardio is Key shirts. Do that while you at it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already, leave a comment. We actually respond. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it for me, man. Great show. Appreciate y'all.
Shout out to Zuwell. As promised, like I said last show, every Wednesday you have 24 hours if you want to get a shirt to do it on a Wednesday to use the SOMK code. It's only on Wednesdays it's available. Any other day of the week you got full price. Just saying. So if you tune into the show as a thank you, that's one of the things that you guys get. Man, and on top of that, the Instagram's having fun. The Facebook's been getting posted. You're seeing stuff from Yankee and the Brit, from MMA Underground. And like I was telling our guests before the podcast, I'm making stuff for the Scrapyard anniversary, and I'm making a few things for the West Coast anniversary. And if you want these exclusive items, you're just gonna have to fight, and hopefully you don't get knocked out when Samke's reffing your fight. Don't just play. Oh, but Samke, thank you very much. No other two co-hosts. Jay, keeping you on your toes, and this computer is running smooth. And to everyone watching, whether it's live or on playback, we appreciate you guys very much. Thank you. So, we're going to end the show like we always do in Jay's famous words. One world, one love, deuces. All right.